say you shot and killed Sameka Stabler. What do you have to say about that? Anything you want to say? Did you do that?
Did you do it? So why are you here right now?
Is this a retaliation for what happened a couple weeks ago?
This is the story of Jasmine Fields, aged 26, a mother of two who was shot while trying to leave her boyfriend Tyvontae Johnson, aged 24. He tracked her to her home, then shot and killed her in front of her two kids and also her best friend Sameka Stabler, who Jasmine begged not to leave her while Tyvontae was attacking her.
She said, "Sis, don't leave me out here," and I stayed out there with her.
Samika ended up being shot too, but survived after spending few days in the hospital only to be killed weeks later by another member of Tyvontae's family. A very crazy, twisted story. Hello and welcome to Twisted Crimes. Subscribe and hit the like button for more stories.
Breaking news is first tonight. A woman is dead after being found shot in her car on the interstate.
This story will be taking us to Mobile, Alabama. Mobile is in the southwestern portion of Alabama, where the state meets the Gulf of Mexico. Mobile is packed full of history, nightlife, traditions, and good old Southern hospitality. A city full of so much greatness and culture. Jasmine Fields, aged 26, was a beautiful, kind, and loving person who always had a smile on her face. She worked at Alorica Inc., where she made money to take care of her kids. She was a devoted mother to her two kids, a boy and a girl, who were her world. She worked hard to provide for them and to give them a good life. Like most people, Jasmine was in a relationship. Unfortunately, Jasmine had a dark secret that she kept from friends. She was in an abusive relationship with a man named Tyvontae Johnson, who was controlling, jealous, and violent. He would often hit her, threaten her, and manipulate her into staying with him. He would also stalk her, call her constantly, and show up at her workplace uninvited. Jasmine tried to break free from him several times, but he would always find a way to get back into her life. He would beg for forgiveness, promised to change, and shower her with gifts and attention. He would also use their children as leverage, saying that he loved them and wanted to be a family. But Jasmine knew that he was lying and that he would never change. She knew that he was dangerous and that he could hurt her or worse. She knew that she had to get away from him for good, for her sake and for her children's sake. That's why she decided to move out of their shared apartment and into a new home in Whistler, a neighborhood in Pritchard, Alabama. She hoped that by moving away, she could start a new life and escape from his grip. But she was wrong. On the morning of July 20, 2023, Jasmine was getting ready to go to work. She had just dropped off her kids at their grandmother's house, who lived next door. She was about to get into her car when she saw Tyvontae coming towards her with a gun in his hand. He had followed her to her new address and waited for the right moment to strike. He was furious that she had left him and that she had moved on with her life. He wanted to punish her and make her pay for rejecting him. He started shooting at her, hitting her multiple times in the chest and abdomen. Jasmine fell to the ground, bleeding profusely and gasping for air. She tried to scream for help, but no one heard her. Her children, who were inside their grandmother's house, heard the gunshots and ran outside. They saw their mother lying on the pavement, covered in blood. They saw their father standing over her with a gun in his hand. They then saw him hurting himself too. They saw him fall next to their mother dead. They ran towards them, crying and screaming. They tried to wake them up, but they didn't move. They tried to hug them, but they were cold. They tried to understand what had happened, but they couldn't. They were traumatized by what they had witnessed. The police arrived shortly after and confirmed that it was a serious case. They said that Tyvontae had killed Jasmine and then decided to hurt himself too. They said that it was not the first time that he had abused her or threatened her with a weapon. What surprised everyone at the scene, including the police, was that there was a third person who had been shot too. Sameka Stabler, Jasmine's best friend, had been there the whole time and had been shot while trying to help Jasmine out of the situation. Her family were devastated when they heard the news and said that Jasmine had filed several restraining orders against him in the past, but he had violated them every time. They said that they had tried to protect her and arrest him, but they couldn't find enough evidence or witnesses to do so. They said that they were sorry for what had happened and that they would do everything they could to help the children. The children were taken to the Mobile Child Advocacy Center, where they received counseling and support from professionals who specialized in trauma and abuse. They also received love and care from their relatives and friends who rallied around them. They were brave and strong, but they were also scared and confused. They missed their mother terribly and they hated their father for what he had done. They wondered if they could have done something to stop him or save her. They wondered if they would ever be happy again. Jasmine's friend, Sameka Stabler, tried to save her on that fateful day but could not. Samika survived after spending a long time in the hospital. After she was released, she had a chat with some news outlet. She stated that, "I did what she asked me to do." She said, "Sis, don't leave me out here," and I stayed out there with her. Samika continued to say she got shot in the chest. "It went through my lung, then came out through my liver, and it ended up in my stomach where doctors says it's just too dangerous to remove."
Sameka Stabler says it's all too surreal right now for her. She says it's hard to talk about. She's still traumatized by what happened.
Did the best I could.
The definition of a friend.
I did what she asked me to do.
The final test of an unbreakable bond.
She said, "Sis, don't leave me out here," and I stayed out there with her.
Jasmine Fields was shot and killed by her ex-boyfriend, who then turned the gun on him, according to police. Sameka Stabler was shot in the chest trying to save Fields. The details of that horrific night are vivid, but Stabler chooses to remain silent about them for now.
It's been hard. Just trying not to think about it.
Stabler got out of the hospital Saturday. She's still in a lot of pain. A bullet on the right side of her chest, a broken heart on the left.
I'm doing a little better. I got shot in the chest. It went through my lung, out my lung, through my liver, and it's just like down in my stomach. I said it was too dangerous to remove it, so.
She says the pain of losing such a gem is unbearable.
Jasmine was a very loving, she was a sweetheart. That was my baby.
But the memories will hopefully help her heal, like this one she shared on her Facebook page today.
I think I was going through something, and Jasmine, she knew when something was wrong with me. She'll text me out the blue. I don't know if you read the message, but she was just like random thinking, you're a good person. That she just did that all the time.
Samika had been friends with Jasmine for several years. She knew about Tyvontae's abusive behavior and tried to help Jasmine get out of the relationship. It later came to light the text between Tyvontae and his cousin where he was telling his cousin what he was about to do. The cousin tried to talk him out of it, but he remained adamant and asked him to take care of his little brother when he is gone. Samika said that she was still in shock and grief over Jasmine's death. She said that Jasmine was a wonderful person who deserved better. She said that she hoped that her friend's story would raise awareness about domestic violence and inspire other victims to seek help. She also said that she prayed for Jasmine's children and hoped that they would heal from the trauma. She said that she loved them like her own and that she would always be there for them. Unfortunately, that love would not last too long. In the text between Tyvontae and his cousin, he mentioned his younger brother. His name is Deranged Johnson, aged 19. He somehow in his twisted mind blamed Samika for the death of his brother even though it was evident that he had hurt himself the day he killed Jasmine. Deranged would track down Samika weeks after she was discharged from the hospital after being shot by his brother. Deranged shot and killed Samika unfortunately. She was able to try to drive herself to the hospital and she identified Tyvontae Johnson, aged 19 as the shooter. Police arrested Tyvontae Johnson and are charging him with murder in connection to the death of Sameka Stabler.
Tyvontae Johnson, Pritchard police say you shot and killed Sameka Stabler. What do you have to say about that? Anything you want to say? Did you do that?
Did you do it? So why are you here right now?
Is this a retaliation for what happened a couple weeks ago?
Do you know her? Anything you want to say? Anything else? Did you do it?
Do you feel bad?
Breaking news is first tonight. A woman is dead after being found shot in her car on the interstate.
She was rushed to the hospital, but she died there. Our Tyler Finger has been tracking this breaking story all afternoon long. Tyler, we now know the victim's name.
Yeah, and just a couple of minutes ago, we just heard from the police chief of the Pritchard Police Department, Walter Knight. He came out here and was able to shed some light on exactly what happened this afternoon. Take a look at video from the scene from I-165 northbound. You can see a black Toyota Camry with the door open and investigators going through it. We're told a woman was found shot in that vehicle and was taken to the hospital. Pritchard police, though, do not believe she was shot in that location. They believe she was actually in the process of driving to the hospital. Law enforcement has identified her as Sameka Stabler. Stabler was a lone survivor of a murder earlier this month in Pritchard that took the life of her friend Jasmine Fields. We're going to have more on that coming up. But again, this situation happening this afternoon about 1:30 on I-165 northbound, right near the I-65 exchange. Police, though, having to bring that down to one lane while the investigation is underway. Again, the victim, Sameka Stabler, is the person who was killed. She was in her 30s. She was taken to University Hospital, where she passed away.
All right, and again, the victim has been identified as Sameka Stabler.
Right, Fox News had just interviewed Stabler just a couple of weeks ago after she was released from the hospital.
She was shot trying to protect her best friend, Jasmine Fields, who was killed in a murder.
A very twisted and sad case of two friends who died at the hands of two brothers. We hope Jasmine continues to rest in peace. We hope Samika gets the justice she deserves soon. Our sincere condolences to the friends and families of Jasmine Fields and Sameka Stabler. May Jasmine's memory be a blessing for her family and for all who knew her, and may her life and death be an inspiration and a turning point towards justice and increased protection for domestic abuse survivors. Please stay safe out there and see you guys in the next video.